When I was up in Wyoming, I was working at a school called NSI. It's for abused and abusive kids and things like that. They send them to a nicer place than where they from, and then they change their conditions. Then they set them up with conditions in order to succeed better in society. So they take you out of the poverty-filled shithole that you're in, and they put you into a pristine living conditions out in the country. Man, they were pristine too, man. Elk and even some buffalo you could see up out there. Elk and deer. Deer would eat in the backyard. Come up and eat in the backyard. Kids would just trip, man. You don't see that shit every day in San Jose, Sacramento, Flint, Detroit, places like that, you know. And so it was different, man. It was fun. The kids were pretty cool. But a lot of the kids were pretty much local. They're from Montana, Wyoming, so it was a no-brainer when they saw it. Yeah, it's just the deer. It's just life, and it's like freaking Napoleon Dynamite and stuff. You know, so it was cool. Kids loved that movie when we watched that up in there because most of the kids got it. Because if you ever watched Napoleon Dynamite, I mean, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, it's no different. It's a trip. But up at there was a man that came to train us from a successful school that had more of a history than NSI did. It was a place called Glen Mills. It's outside of Philly. And one of the training methods was that you had to train everybody that you work with to be able to do your job. So that way, if you weren't there, you knew it got done. So you always, you know, it's like training a shepherd. You got to train your son to be a good shepherd because if daddy don't make it back home, you've got to be the shepherd, you know. So a great world teacher would teach you everything he knew and everything he could, and make sure that you have the confidence to do your own damn self instead of always. We talked about this many times before. It's like, I'm the only one with the key, so keep me alive. But a lot of people are like, man, okay, well, what do we need you for? I mean, you're old and shit. Let's just take you off out and kill you. Well, you can do that, but then you're going to teach everybody else to do that too. So as soon as your shelf life is done, you suck, you're done, and they're going to treat you like shit. But I never treated you like shit. Yeah, but it's just in business terms, Dad, Mom, it's just a better purchase, you know. So, sorry, David, sorry, Lupe, sorry, Ralph, you know, you're getting too old, it's time to go. Oh, hell, I'm over 40. It's time for me to go. I'll see you guys. It's been a good life. Shit. No, man, life's what you make of it, man. One of the best parts in life is going to Grandma and Grandpa's. Man, my grandma and grandpa's house was a trip because we came from a dysfunctional family and stuff. And Granny was always mean. Grandpa was cool. He liked to drink and smoke, and he was always getting you out of Grandma's way when Grandma went on one of her little tears. You know, she'd yell at you about certain things. She's like, oh, "Why don't you boys go out and play on the weeping? Well, why don't you go out?" And he was always directing us away from her. Right? He's the one who showed us how to climb through. He built most of the stuff in the house, so he's the one who showed us how to get in the chutes and stay in the walls and play outside and go out there in the pens. And I told you that, man, he'd do it. He did it with Linda, and he did it with a lot of us. You know, he'd go for a walk, and Granny went around to all the convenience stores and the liquor stores, and they wouldn't sell to him, you know, or they'd have to run into Mary Parsons. You didn't want to run into that woman, boy. She mean. So they all, okay, we won't sell Frank any booze. So he'd take you out for a walk, and he'd go walk across the border over the river into Juarez and buy himself a booze and buy you an Orange Crush. He'd put it in the bag, and you'd keep your Orange Crush in a bag. And I told you, people drive by, and it's like with young winos in training. Isn't that special? That's one of the most beautiful things. I mean, that's like from a movie like Conrack. Was it Conrack or Conroy? I can't remember. But I love that movie. But yeah, it's a great movie, man. It's really good, you know. But it's one of those special movies. I was Madge Sinclair, one of my favorite actresses, you know, who's playing the mean teacher. You know, she's just belittling and just ripping this kid a new one, and he gets up and I gotta save this kid, man, because you know, if you have a weak bladder, then you should let her know. And then she's, you know, apparently she's not very kind. I have a weak bladder, so can I go to the bathroom when I need to? That's just an excuse to getting out of doing your work. Oh, God, I always hear stuff like that. No, the person just has a weak bladder. Haven't you noticed that? Instead of humiliating him and have him strengthen his bladder, why don't you just let him go to the bathroom because it's healthy? And then just, hey, and so you got up. I got a weak bladder. I love that, man. I ain't seen that movie in like I saw it when I was like about 7 or 8 years old. Stayed up all night watching it, and I loved the part. You know, he's listening to that music, and one of the girls he gave the radio to, and she plays the music, the classical music for him, and he's getting on the boat. They fire him because he comes too controversial, and he tries to. What really was the last straw of the straw that broke the camel's back was he. He gets the kids and tries to get them across the ferry there. They're Geechee kids, and he tries to get them across the ferry into the town to go trick or treating. He wants them to all be able to go trick or treating. It's American tradition, and the white folks ain't down with that. You know, no. The niggas can't come up here and go trick or treat. We ain't giving the niggas free candy. No, no, no. And he gets, you know, he's just appalled by the way that these people treat each other, you know, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like cruelty, and he doesn't. Pat Conroy, I guess. It's a great movie. Oh gosh, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Is it Conrack or Conroy? I don't know. I was having trouble looking for it. I kept going and kept looking because his daughter came on, Angelina Jolie, and I was like, I'll coast this one, but where is it going? And I looked and I remembered, and they started talking about her dad, and I was like, yeah, John Voight, Conrack. I couldn't remember the name of one of my favorite movies of all time. Oh, it's a great movie. It's one of the best movies ever made. It's just my opinion. I was a kid and I was watching that and I was just so taken by it. I just was just, wow, this is beautiful. He's such a great teacher. And the kids, and he's, you know, he's having to, oh, it's a good movie. God, if you haven't, you should, man. It's like, it's one of those, it was like Sissy Spacek said about To Kill a Mockingbird. I saw it up in here the other day. She said, when I saw that movie as a kid, I thought it was just one of the most special movies in the world made just for kids. Like Holes. I got Holes at home. I gotta watch that too. And then she saw it as an adult and said, "No, it's better. It's even better for adults. That's a movie you can sit down and watch with your family. To Kill a Mockingbird, one of the best movies and books ever made. Harper Lee, first book I ever read from cover to cover because it kept my interest so well. Love that book. Love that movie. Atticus Finch took him right off the pages. I mean, Gregory Peck, and made Atticus, and the kids, the casting. The only one I liked the brother who played Tom Robinson, but the way I read him in the book, I thought that he was even probably a little bit more attractive physically. Not saying the man wasn't physically attractive, but that he had more of a Jackie Robinson kind of look to him. But he had a deformed arm because he got caught in a cotton picker and tore the muscles off. So he could only use his left hand. That was a big thing in his case because the girl was beat with somebody who was right-handed, and he didn't have a good, like Nathan Hogue. Nathan Hogue was born. His dad was much older, and he had a deformed right arm, only one left arm. It's interesting. Man, I've had an interesting life. It's been a very interesting life. But you know, when I was sitting there thinking about this stuff, and they were like, "Man, Ralph, you're so easily impressionable. You're just getting manipulated." So what if I am? I don't give a shit. The thing about it is you know, you guys are, oh, this guy's such a mook. He believes everything he gets in his head, and he's just crazy. Yeah, but I can come up with math equations and math proofs that make you guys all look like morons. I can give you math proofs to live by that can help save the whole world from your own stupidity and self-destruction and irrational arguments over worship and self-worship and idol worship and destruction of self and irrational extortion and whole kinds of things, stuff like that. I may be crazy enough to sit there and think that I have conversations with Jennifer Lopez and Selena Quintanilla, but at least the stuff I get from it is so amazing that it's just like, wow. Well, I connect to them, they connect to me. Me and Selena are talking because she loves her husband and she wants to, and it's obvious to me. I didn't get it right at first. I get emotional. I keep telling you guys that. I'm kind of passionate and I kind of emotional. I've been known to kind of fly off out the handle. I kind of get like, what the, and then have to come back and say, oh, dude, man, I'm sorry. I kind of bonered that one. Yeah, okay. I didn't get it. I was like, what? There was a huge question in my head between that because it was like I knew it was that even then I don't know for sure because she sure is pretty, isn't she? Yeah, the kids are cute. God, that video is adorable. Merry Christmas, everybody. Say the gift. He's so darn cute, man. He looks a lot like his pops. He's very handsome. She looks like, oh man, she looks like the pictures of her mom when her hair's tied up and she doesn't have any makeup on. She's beautiful. They're gorgeous kids. They're cute. They come running in, and the lady with them go in there. You know, it's so cute. Oh gosh, adorable. She's got family and friends. You got lots of love, girl, man. You just enjoy life. My pops has been real kind and sweet to me, and I've enjoyed it. And you know, my family came by and offered some olive branch things. My dad, you know, we talked about they'll never say they're sorry. He said, "Good luck with that." I've never really gotten any sorries, you know. I told you that when I was married to Stephanie, you know. If she just came in, I'm sorry, I was gay, and that's why our marriage didn't work. It's like, it's okay. It was no biggie. I mean, you couldn't discover who you were till we got in, and I was the type of person you could get into a marriage and be yourself, and I wanted you to be yourself, and you turned out to be gay. All I wanted was just you to say, "Oh, I'm sorry." I don't blame the marriage not lasting on me. Just, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." That's cool. I tried to explain that to her, tried to open it up for her. She never would. No, she told her mom I made her gay. I was like, what? I heard that, and she's never apologized. And I was like, no, she never will. Amy will apologize, you know, like it's her apologies are kind of like, I'm so sorry that, yeah, they always make it seem like, I'm so sorry that, it's never an apology like, I'm sorry I was a complete and utter psycho, selfish beast, bitch that had no control of themselves and was faithless and just cruel to you and took advantage of you and was a complete shithead. No, it's nothing like that. It's more like it's kind of like a half-ass, kind of like, I'm sorry that you let me take advantage of you. It's like, I never did. I just asked you to stop all. Never mind. Frog. So I said that with the stuff that happened to me with my kids and all this. I was like, you know, just be nice and just get a apology. You won't get that. No, my dad's like, nah, you'll wait all your life. You won't get the apology. I mean, you do far less worse things to people and apologize for far less. I mean, you just make a wrong assumption and go apologize like it was the worst thing in the world you could have ever done to somebody. And you'll do that. And but they'll do horrible offenses on you and come in and apologize like, Law that night at the Stuart Anguson's Black Angus, man. I was like, I didn't get where she was coming from. I was like, I told her all the things I did wrong, and I apologized, and I sat down waiting for her to tell me all the things she did wrong and apologize. And she didn't. She repeated everything. And furthermore, and you did this and you did that, and I'm like, wait a minute. I already said that. I already said, and she didn't say, and the reason why she did all the things that she did wrong is because she thought I was having an affair with Sergeant Montalvo, which I wasn't, but then I fell in love with Sergeant Montalvo, which was worse than what she did. It's like I wouldn't have probably fallen in love with Sergeant Montalvo that deeply and got to know her as well if you had just been faithful and then just, you know, kind of looked at our commitment and said, yeah, I want to be with you too, and not screwed around and came and stayed out with me. But then you weren't trained to do that. You weren't going to be like that. So why are you busting my balls for doing something for what you did? You know, I was so mad. And that was the funny part was seriously, it was like a movie. It was the waiter, she was flirting with him and he was hitting on her, and she was so busy yelling at me she couldn't hear it, and he was sitting there. He came up to ask me for something. He asked me about something about my meal. I said, man, dude, if you want to take her, you can have her, man. She doesn't even know I'm here. Just watch. She's not, yeah, look, okay. She may be fine as all that, look like Crosby, looks like Dorothy Dandridge or Halle Berry and all that stuff, but nah, man, you're welcome to. And he just looked at me like, what? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm in the Air Force in North Carolina and everything like that. Man, you're more than welcome to try to go ahead and hit that. Take it home. Enjoy. Just like she was so busy lambasting me, she didn't even pay attention. She just thought I was talking about my food. She didn't know I was sitting there telling him, go ahead, man. You've been trying to flirt with her and pick up on her all night. She's been flirting with you. You can take her home, man. I'll call a cab. I got money. I got a job. Shit. It was nuts, man. It was funny. I told you about that, too, because then she sat there when we went out and danced. And, oh, man, Punchy's and Teresa's and Michelle's friends were just laughing because she was dancing and she was watching herself in the mirror. I thought she was flirting again. So I looked and I'm like, gosh, she's really staring that person down hard. Who's she flirting with? And she was watching herself dance in the mirror. So I started dancing to the side. I put my shoulder, and everybody was laughing. She goes, you're a terrible dancer. Let's go sit down. You're embarrassing me because you dance so bad. And I was like, no, it's because everybody's laughing at you watching yourself in the mirror. So then I started talking to those couples, and they were laughing. Like, oh, those are the funniest things I've ever seen. She's so into herself. And then they talked about it. This girl come here every weekend. It's the first time we ever seen her with you. Who are you? I'm her fiance. Oh, really? Where are you? I'm at Pope Air Force Base, North Carolina. She says I don't know how to dance. You look like you're doing pretty good, son. Yeah, some of my friends teach me some of the dances and shit everybody be doing out on the East Coast. Maybe they just haven't caught out here on the West Coast. She was so mad at me. I was just laughing, and I was talking to people, and she was pissed. She was like, you're embarrassing. You're making me mad, man. I was messing up her whole Mac. Well, because I was getting meat bugged by half the guys in the club. One was a really attractive a Puerto Rican guy, looked a lot like El DeBarge, kind of just came up, looked like my friend Tico, came up and just started meat mugging me at the urinal, and I was like looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't say anything to him. I just sat and looked at him like, what? I didn't even really have to say anything to him. I just like looked at him like, what are you doing in my face? I'm trying to take a piss here. Don't meat mug me in the bathroom. The hell's wrong with you, boy? He just looked at me. Then as soon as he came and meat mugged me. And as soon as I turned and made eye contact with him, he stopped looking at me and he kept his eyes down towards the floor and he walked out. And then he sat down. I came in to sit next to her and sat next to her at the bar. He went all the way to the other end of the bar and commenced to meat mugging me again. I was like, oh, no, you didn't. I mean, I looked you in the eye, right in the eye, when you started meat mugging me first directly right then when we was in the bathroom. And now you didn't do shit about it. Now you're going to sit there 15 feet off at the end of the bar and start staring me down again? You ain't about shit. I don't care if you did tap this, you sorry-ass little motherfucker. I was so mad. And then I'm sitting there thinking, she's been sleeping around with little punk-ass motherfuckers like that on me? Like, I don't deserve this shit. I was pissed. And then when we went to the park and she broke up with me, because I sat there and I told her, I said, well, we can still work on this, but there's just one thing. I can do a long-distance relationship, but I ain't been having sex with nobody, and I ain't going to be having sex with nobody. I come home every 4 months. I just have sex with you, and you just have sex with me. And she looked at me and she goes, I can't do that. And I was like, that's when I lost it. She put me through hell for like 6 to 9 months because she didn't want me to date Miriam. Yeah, she wanted to be the one to break up, and she wanted me to, I don't know what the deal was. She either wanted me to admit I don't know what was up with her. It was a weird thing. Stephanie did the same thing with me all the time, too. She had to be the one to break up. It was always, I was like, this is too abusive. We got to break up. We got to get out. No, she'd throw a fit. Then she'd come back and break up, and then we'd get back together, and then she always had to be the one to break up. She could never, and that's what she always said. And then finally, I divorced you, and I said, you did. You divorced me. Yes, you did. It was always that way. I have to be the one to break up with you. I was like, y'all just crazy. Well, then do it. And then they'd go out and meet other guys. He's a bum. Get me back. Boom. Until they were just finally decided that they've moved on. Law had decided she was going to find something better. She was dating this guy that was like Ethiopian royalty or whatever, So she had found a better guy. Oh, he dogged her out. Oh, man, yeah. He's just like that doctor dude did. She always found better than me. I was like, okay, it sounds good to me. She was always looking to trade up. And with Stephanie, she just decided she was gay. But her mom was having issues with it, so she always had to tell her mom it was my fault because how horrible the relationship was and how horrible the marriage was and how I never ever really fell out of love with Law. And I was like, no, you just jumped me, like right off the bat, just boom. Just didn't give me time to recover or nothing. You would have been dating someone else. And I said, yeah, most likely. I didn't want to date my ex-fiance's cousin, his adopted sister. I had felt uncomfortable with it, but she was just dating you to keep you away from me. It worked out perfectly, though, and I told Law about that when I got home, and we tried to be friends again. And we kind of made up, and I said, well, I was supposed to have Patrick. I have no apologies. And he's a special boy, and we were supposed to get together to have him. So I ain't sorry for what I did. I mean, I'm sorry for the way it went down. If you guys hadn't tried to control everything and been such control freaks and tried to, Stephanie knew how to work me, and she was right. It worked, We should really be together, and they're keeping us apart, and they did this and it looked like that. And I was like, you're right. Okay, I'll give you a chance. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. People shouldn't control other people. That's just wrong. She played me, and then came out, boom. Let's get pregnant right away. And I was so vulnerable, and I told her, I'm not ready. And I told her, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. You are ready. Don't make me wait the same way Law made you wait. But I'm not. I never looked at you as a girlfriend or a wife. I looked at you as my. You were an adopted sister who's a cousin to my fiance. I looked at you as my sister. Kind of like on the whole thing with what was that movie? Bodyguard. It's like, I like this girl. You're her sister. I was never watching you. I was watching her. That's how I was. And so it was really hard. It was difficult. So it was almost like making love to your sister. And I told her that. This is not fun. It was hard, and she was mad at me because I didn't have the instantaneous emotions that she had for me. And I tried to explain to her, you've been cultivating these feelings the whole time I've been dating Law, and I was looking at you like a sibling, and you were looking at me like a prospective spouse. I didn't equate it until after the fact, but it was supposed to happen because we got Patrick. He's special. It's just the way it works sometimes, man. I don't know why, I don't know how come, but it's just the way that it works. Sometimes some weird abusive, crazy relationships happen, and you get some pretty special kids out of it, because you have a special moment. I was really appreciative of her coming out to try to bring me some love and some happiness and kindness, and she was really kind for about the first 2 or 3 weeks, but the insecurities were horrible, and she was gay. But when she came out and we conceived Patrick, it was a very special moment, and then everything just went weird from there. Yeah, it was bizarre. I was very happy to have her come, be there, and it was very special. And I was told beforehand that I needed to get together with her, and that the little golden orb that covered our, and then when I went back to look on it, the little golden orb that was covered us when we were together was the spirit of that boy. Just like those little golden orbs that jumped up on that video when I went to Merry Christmas, everybody! Give! Those are little golden orbs. Those are little special souls. They really are. They all are. Every soul's a special soul. But some kids just have a little special quality to them. I'm not kissing everybody's butt. You just know who. Yeah. Give. Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless us, everyone. Some kids just have a leadership quality in them that Patrick's like that. My Katie Bug's like that. And she had to get together with Oscar. Something happened for a moment there. And something really special came out of it. So I'm glad she cheated on me that night. I'm glad she cheated on me every night that she came back home pregnant, because life just wouldn't be the same without him. I know that sounds strange, but life happens for a reason. I'm not your great world teacher. I'm your brother. I learn from you and you learn from me. That's how it works. Alright? I'm going to go back up. I'm going to do one more and then we'll go back and load these up. I hope these are helpful. This is really weird. This is some of my experience. I ain't trying to put nobody down. They were trained. And life is hideous. And you were never happy, and we extort, and it's about survival. That's what I was always told. It's about survival and getting yours. And that's bullshit. It's about love and covenants and protection, following some golden rules, and those math proofs, those 10 Commandments, and that Lord's Prayer, they're pretty special. So is that Holy Quran. If you read it with your heart, it makes a lot better guide. All right, guys, I'll be back. I love you. Blessings and peace.